Hi, I'm Bao. That stands for Brother of Wisdom. I have a lot of hats that I wear, but right now I would like to speak about things that are wise. Once you are able to give someone something that is wise, then they're able to thrive from that which is wise. Right now, I want to come to you about some reverend that spoke about the halftime show of Beyonce, and I want to give my little 2 cents in it. So this segment that I will be speaking is entitled, "And That's My Opinion." I'm going to let you see the video, and it's going to have questions under the video, and I'm going to give my opinion about that. And hopefully this wisdom that I share with you guys is something that you know that, man, that's pretty interesting. It's really stupid. A lot of times we think because the person make a lot of noise that they're the person that knows what they know. No. There's an old saying that an empty wagon make the most noise. And you're going to find that out. Thank you so much.
Back during slavery, when black people like me talked to the slaves, they didn't kill him. They sent some old house Negro along behind him to undo what he said. You have to read the history of slavery to understand this. There were two kinds of Negroes. There was that old house Negro and the field Negro. And the house Negro always looked out for his master. When the field Negroes got too much out of line, he held them back in check. He put them back on the plantation. The house Negro could afford to do that because he lived better than the field Negro. He ate better, he dressed better, and he lived in a better house. He lived right up next to his master in the attic or the basement. He ate the same food his master ate and wore his same clothes. And he could talk just like his master. Good diction. And he loved his master more than his master loved himself. That's why he didn't want his master hurt. If the master got sick, he'd say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick?" When the master's house caught a fire, he'd try and put the fire out. He didn't want his master's house burned. He never wanted his master's property threatened. And he was more defensive of it than the master was. That was the house Negro. But then you had some field Negroes who lived in huts, had nothing to lose. They wore the worst kind of clothes, they ate the worst food, and they caught hell. They felt the sting of the lash. They hated their master. Oh, yes, they did. If the master got sick, they prayed that the master died. If the master's house caught a fire, they prayed for a strong wind to come along. This was the difference between the two. And today you still have house Negroes and field Negroes.
People have been asking me what did I think about Beyonce's performance yesterday at the Super Bowl. I do know what she was doing. You understand? And I will say this, and this isn't coming from a white-black issue. This is just speaking truth and speaking what's right. There is a double standard that we do not acknowledge and that we do not address. There is a huge double standard. You can't tell one group, "Sit down, shut up, what you do is racist and offensive to me, put your Confederate flag away," while we want to parade and shove how we feel down everyone else's throat. I do know what Beyonce was doing yesterday. And then just a little history. 1966, Huey P. Newton, Geronimo Pratt, that's when the Black Panther Party was originated in 1966 in Oakland, 50 years ago. Super Bowl 50 was yesterday in the Bay Area near Oakland. So Beyonce was parading in a celebration of the 50-year anniversary of the Black Panther.
And you knew what she was doing. So you know the history of the Black Panthers. And she was honoring an organization that done something back then and has the influence of other people to do something now for the black community, so they can thrive, so they can have equal opportunity, so they can have prosperity, so they can have a peace of mind, some type of intelligence, some type of integrity about themselves. So you knew what she was doing, and you mentioned her honoring some people that held us in honor. They had a certain amount of respect for us, and you went through the history, but then you still turned it around and made it into what you wanted to make it into. You said that you're not coming from a black and white issue, and you say there's a huge double standard. Let me share some with you, Gentry. There's not a double standard, and you are a liar. You are coming from a black and white issue because it's black people that are being killed. I have a photo I'm going to make sure that I post of 3 mothers holding their children with the black, dressed in black, for black power. Black power has nothing to do with killing and keeping our race pure. Ku Klux Klan and the white-minded people that have been killing us daily, mentally, spiritually, from our perspectives and from our angles, those are the ones that you should be pointing your finger at and having something to say about. Now, to speak on how you are a liar. How in the hell is it a double standard for you to honor an organization that done so much for the intelligence and the integrity of the community of black people? But the other people, that what they do is out of pure hatred. They don't like you. I don't know the standard that you're talking about. How many Black Panthers that you know pillaged, destroyed, burned, degraded, raped the white community?
I do know what she was doing. And I will say this now, and you and I know, and this is, I'm speaking to the black community. You and I know, and let's just be real, let's cut the crap. You and I know, if anyone else did a performance and they wanted to represent their heritage or how they feel about the past or history, and it was racially motivated like hers was yesterday, we would be pissed. We would be pissed. Okay? And I don't use that word lightly. We would be protesting, marching, calling Obama on the phone, Al Sharpton, Benjamin Crump. We'll be calling all of them, telling them to shut that down. So how is it that this girl can perform the way she did and we, yeah, baby, shake it, Beyonce, yes. Yes, Beyonce, yes. But we carry the double standard of having everybody else sit down, shut up, put your flag away. What you do offends me and us black people.
It was not racially motivated what Beyonce done. She know, in my knowledge, I can't speak for Beyonce, but to my understanding, she knows to get some type of justice and respect is to use something, some certain symbol that stood for justice and respect. You can't go and get a Malcolm X symbol of him and just parade him around like a buffoon. You can't do that. You can't get the symbol of the Black Panthers and parade them around like a buffoon. They respect those who have a deep respect for themselves. When I say they respect, I mean the right-minded people, not the white people. The white-minded people respect those that respect themselves and say, get your foot off my neck. You're not going to just do what you want to do with me. They have more respect for that person than they have for this person that say, it's going to be all right. Leave us white folks alone. Can we say, yes, Beyonce, yes, and we support her in her performance? She's an artist. She's a performer. We're supposed to support her. If it's something that appeals to us and have us grooving and we enjoying it, why shouldn't we enjoy it? Because you didn't like what she was wearing. You didn't like the message.
I move under God's Spirit and its anointing. And those who've been following me know that. But what she did was foolish. How can you sit up there and be anti-police when 100 of them escorted you to the Super Bowl yesterday, Beyonce? How does that make sense? That's just not logical. How can you show that kind of disrespect? But spiritually speaking, what you're doing is sowing seeds into the young generation that sees that. They internalize that. So I do know what she was doing spiritually, and yes, it was wicked. I'm no fan of Beyonce. I'm no fan of her husband. I do think both of them are bohemian puppets that are following a very elite group. I'm going to leave it at that. But I am no fan of them. But I do know what she was doing, and it was wrong. Because if it would have been anyone else, we would have been pissed. So let's shut down the double standard and let's address what needs to be addressed. And that is the truth. Because we're living in last days. It's 2016. We don't need to go back to the past and hurt others with it. And that goes on both sides of the spectrum. God bless all of you. I love you. Much respect. God bless.
One simple statement. You move under God's anointing and under God's spirit. What God are you talking about? Blonde hair? Who is your God? Who makes you feel the way that you feel? If I'm sending a message through a cone and a person is a block away and I'm saying you are the greatest in the world, and through that cone it does not have the strength to carry that message, and they got the message wrong, and the message came across, get out of my world. You know what happens then? Something needs to be done with that thing that communicates. Number one, with you're speaking about, you speak, you're under God, you move by the Spirit, and you're under God's anointing. First you got to find out, who in the hell is your God? Secondly, you got to realize, you can do it or not. I may get some flack on this. I don't give a damn. God is not a he. It is debasing and disrespectful to say God is a he. God can give you characteristics and speak to us as if it's some he characteristic. So we can stand up and be a man. God is a supreme being. When it was said, even in that old lying movie of Moses, that the white folks were the one that set us free through Moses, it said, tell them I am who I am. We want to put characteristics on them, like we want to put characteristics on dogs and pets and put them in little outfits. God is a supreme being. So when you say that you move by God's anointing, by God's spirit, first thing you need to do is quit debasing him and quit debasing God. I apologize. And quit putting human characteristics on our Creator. At the end, I'm going to try to put this police officer that spoke about the injustice of the police officers. That's a police officer. Anyone that had a problem with Beyonce's performance, you're not a police officer. It don't have a goddamn thing to do with police officers. It has everything to do with those wearing those same uniforms that you're wearing, and they're killing us. So if you take that person as a police officer, maybe you need to check your integrity. I still would like to know how Beyonce showing a certain amount of disrespect for police officers, if what she's saying is stop killing us. And thank you, Huey P. Newton. Thank you, Black Panthers, for what you've done for our community, where there's no one to show us what a man is. There's Malcolm. Where there's no one to show us what's just, how we should treat our community, how we should be there for our community. Let me pull your coat to something real quick. WIC was created by the Black Panthers. It's still now being used today. Does that sound like something that's anti-police? Does that sound like something that is racially motivated or filled with hatred? It's a solution-based organization. That's what the Black Panthers is. If there's a problem going on here, here's the solution that we should utilize. You're not even a fan of her. And next time you want to use the word a bohemian puppet, give some clarification. A bohemian puppet is nothing but a puppet with human characteristics to be made to seem like it's more of a real person. That's the only thing a bohemian puppet is. And when you want to speak about someone, first of all, it's justice and it's hatred. If you're not a fan of her and her husband, anything you say is hating. It's not anything that you can say that has anything to do with justice. You don't like them from the beginning. So what do I expect to come out of your mouth? Hate. Beyonce, I salute you. I thank you. And I'm going to pray for you. Any police organization that does not stand up and do their job, because that's what their job to do, is to protect and serve, not care about a performance that sheds light on injustice in our society. That's not your job. They have some people that probably be securing Obama right now. They do not agree with him. They may hate him, but their job is to preserve life. That is your job as a police officer. But Beyonce, I salute you, and I thank you for what you've done. And know, from this time forward, anyone that's viewing this video, my opinion is the only opinion matter. That's an arrogant statement to make. But it's only one reason I say that. May God forgive me, may you forgive me, if you only hear arrogance in that. The only reason why I say it's only my opinion matters, because I care about the sanity of the United States and the people that are in our society and in our neighborhoods. Check what I say. Look at what everyone else is saying, and you tell me, and you make the difference. Once again, this is B.O.W, and this has been a segment entitled, And That's My Opinion. Thank you.
World, what's going on out there? Before I get into what I have to say, first off, I'm not sponsoring any agency. Everything that I say is free heart and free will. Also, if you catch me looking down from time to time, I've written everything down, so I won't incriminate myself nor say anything that I'm supposed to say. So with that being said, I want to talk about, I'm hearing people say cops, all cops are bad now. They need to bring in the government to start doing their job. They need to start policing this type of way or that type of way. Cops normally don't speak out socially because it's not quote unquote professional, but the world can say whatever they want about cops, but the cops can't say nothing back. Do know that cops have voice too, and this cop is going to speak out. I'm going to keep it professional but real at the same time. So with that being said, my name is Billy Ray Fields. I'm 33 years of age. I'm currently 5 years and running as a police officer in South Georgia. And people come to me all the time and say, Fields, man, it's a bad time to be a cop right now. Well, I say it's a perfect time to be a cop simply because we see on the news, social media, and just everyday talks how police have been abusing their authority. Well, I go on record and say I promote the movement in what you see. I promote the cops that are getting exposed for all the wrongdoings that they do, especially in this day and age where the good cops are getting bad reps. This movement that we're witnessing sees the bad, the racist, and the crooked cops getting removed from their respective agencies. And I love it. Believe it or not, world, there are still good police officers like myself out there that still exist. I don't support the looting and the violence that's been going on in this country behind the movement that's taking place. But hey, this wouldn't be America if there wasn't any violence. I'm disgusted by seeing our young black youth killed and abused. It's not just the black race, it's the Hispanic race, the white race, the Asian race, all ethnic groups that's been abused or assaulted wrongfully by a cop. When I became a cop, I took an oath, knowing what I would face in these streets. Listen, first of all, ignorance of the law is no excuse. That's why I educate the uneducated people about the do's and the don'ts of the law. This young generation, they're our future, and some of them don't have a clue nor a plan. So it's my job to not only uphold the law, but show, guide, and lead them in the right direction. For the people that know me, know I'm the same guy with the badge on as well as it off. I give the dope boys and the gang members the same amount of respect and courtesy as I would a judge or a lawyer. Because at the end of the day, we've all done bad at one time or another. It's not my job to judge how you choose to live your life because we're all one nation under God. This video was never made to go viral or be the talk of the town, but this video may cause me to get looked at a little differently, may deter my level of success in this police field that I'm in. It may even stop my growth as a cop. But I do know one thing, my words are real, and I stand behind what's right. So to the actual good cops out there, I salute y'all, stand up, because this too shall pass. But the bad cops out there, man, go cut yourself and go jump in the ocean for me. My people, continue to record, and I'm Billy Ray, and I'm out.